this book is right along my alley. Pim Fox, who normally hosts this show, is twice the man I am, but smaller man than me. But he does this standing desk thing, which he just built on his own because he couldn't get, he couldn't wait to get the right monitors installed and everything. Should people do that? Should people get up?
I tell you, we've been finding this. Tens of thousands of people are getting up. The dangers of sitting with respect to the chronic diseases you mentioned, but on top of that, sort of the mental slowing that people feel stultified at their desks every day. People are getting up across America, across the world, Cory. And so what we're finding that as people get up, particularly working in corporations, is their productivity improves, they're more alert, more creative. And so what I've come to notice is that things are just getting better and better the more and more people get up.
Yeah, so specifically the health things. Tell me about the health risks and why they happen in the body. You're a doctor.
34 chronic diseases, many of which you mentioned, but including cancer and depression, on top of the diabetes and obesity, of course.
Why?
But why?
Just because your legs are folded and your intestines are crunched? And...
No, that is precisely right. As soon as you crunch somebody down, the huge genetic molecular elements that support the body and run the metabolism get slowed, and it is simply an unnatural position for the human body to be in hour upon hour upon hour. And in so doing, the cholesterol rises, the blood sugar rises, toxins are not cleared, and then all of those negative health consequences result.
Now, I took up in earnest. I've always worked out a lot. I've lifted weights. I took up walking. Just walking, not running. I do some running as well, but the simple, I would swim and stuff. I burned, when I started walking 10,000 steps a day, changed my diet with a little bit less sugar, I lost 30 pounds in about a year. And it was simply amazing to me. For me, the inspiration was a pedometer in my wrist with the jawbone up, is the one I'm wearing right now. But I keep hearing stories like mine for lots of people when they just start standing.
I mean, I literally heard before I left Phoenix to come here, a 300-pound gentleman said, all I've started doing is walking to work. 300-pound gentleman lost 25 pounds in 6 months. Your story...
Well, he lives 15 miles away in Phoenix. He walked down all the camelbacks.
It's a long walk to New York.
Yeah,
no, joking. But this idea, just as you said, it is introducing walking into your day, displacing sitting activities for active ones. People lose 10, 20, 30, 40 pounds a year. It's quite impressive, and all without breaking a sweat. And what a deal that is.
Why did people start sitting?
I think we became...
And sitting in the way that we do sit.
Right. I think since the Industrial Revolution, in fact, we became seduced. Then the 1940s evolved the modern office space where we were entrained to be stuck at our desks. And then the managers got the sense that if you see people moving around the office, they can't be walking, that can't be good. And so therein evolved the modern office. And all of us who are stuck behind monitors answering endless, worthless emails hours upon hours, realize how entrapped we've become. And then, of course, we get in our cars and go home, and then we're in front of the TV and internet during the evening, and all of a sudden, you spent 15 hours on your bottom, and it's just not what we're meant to do.
Now, as it relates to the workplace, we had some great Michigan corporations like Herman Miller and Steelcase.
Of course.
That really designed the way we work.
Correct.
They probably think that they're succumbing to customers more, but I would argue that they've had a great role in making the way that we work. What are they doing to this movement of standing, and what are they doing in terms of designing new furniture?
Again, so credit where credit's due. So when Steelcase saw these data coming out of the scientific laboratories, they realized that there would be an implicit need across corporate America to give people not boxes that they're adding onto this, but proper industrial-grade professional solutions. And Steelcase actually developed the treadmill desk. And with me and our team at Mayo. And this has been the most phenomenally successful enterprise, not just for those 10, 20, 30, 40, 50,000 people who've actually purchased them from multiple companies now, but also for getting the idea out, the idea that you can walk and work. I mean, just think of a standard conference call where you're sitting on your bottom and, you're just sort of daydreaming or doing eBay, whatever it is one does. If one can just be walking at perhaps 1.5, 2 miles an hour during that call, burn 150 calories, one's actually more attentive to those types of calls, those kind of interactions. And that is what the treadmill desk scenario has taught us, that people can walk sometimes for 2, 3, 4 hours whilst at work, be healthier, lose the 40 or 50 pounds.
I was particularly inspired. There's this thing going on in Silicon Valley where, Steve Jobs would do this, but Mark Zuckerberg does this famously, walks around the campus. Jeff Weiner at LinkedIn walks around the campus. I'm not one of those guys, but I don't do meetings in conference rooms anymore. I can't look at PowerPoint slides ever again. If someone brings a deck to show me, it makes my eyes glaze over. We go for walks down the Embarcadero in San Francisco, and it changed. I mean,
changes the dynamic.
The dynamics change, right? People answer questions differently. The number retention might not be the same. It might. But what you talk about and the way you talk about it's really different.
So we've introduced walk and talk meetings to about more than 70 US corporations. The dynamic is different. It's sort of like, you know, if you have a bad day, you know, how do you deal with that? One of the best ways of dealing with having a bad day is to take a friend or a loved one and go for a walk. And there is an intimacy about walking with somebody. It's something you're doing with something. It's actually a very intimate thing to do with somebody. And if you hold a walk and talk meeting, exchanging ideas on the move, it's Socrates came up with the idea. This is nothing new. It is such a powerful way of interacting with somebody and so much more healthy and therefore more positive. And you're getting that buzz, I believe, as one's walking, that positivity and that endorphin buzz. What a combination, creativity and work.
And you can still be mean. I take people I don't like when I'm halfway through my walk. We go up the Filbert steps. It's about 400 steps up to Coit Tower. It's cruel and punishing.